Mr. Big knew something was up as soon as he opened the door to his office. The lifeless bodies of 4 of his bodyguards lay on the floor in front of him. As his gaze followed the carnage towards the back of the room, there, slumped in the chair, he saw him. Rage burned in those eyes, an inhuman, animalistic rage that could only come from revenge. It was then that Mr. Big knew he'd made a big mistake. I made that image a few months ago, inspired by the blaxploitation and kung fu films that I used to watch growing up as a kid. I remember my mum would come home with some VHS tapes, usually of like a gritty crime drama or a kung fu action film, and I'd sit down on a Saturday afternoon and watch those. Don't judge my parents, it was the 80s and movie ratings really didn't mean anything back then. I loved them all. They were so fantastic, amazing to watch. So I wanted to create something based on that, flesh out my own character idea. But at the moment, I don't even have a name for the guy. So what I thought I'd do is, if you want to leave a comment below with a name suggestion, the comment that gets the highest number of votes for a name, maybe I can make a print of the image you just saw at the beginning of this video and I'll send it to you, no charge. Am I going to regret this? I don't know. So why not stick around to the end of this video where I will give you a little bit more backstory of the character, and maybe that will help influence your ideas for a name. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. So today I'd like to show you a coloring technique I'll be using to create this character for the comic. I'm always looking for new and faster ways to get the results I want for my illustrations. And through a lot of trial and error, I think I've found something I'm really comfortable with that is quick and easy to apply. Wasn't difficult to learn, but also allows me to do redos or fix mistakes if I need to. Something which I think was lacking in a lot of the other mediums I worked with in the past. This is just a sketch I've made of the character. Then I've prepared the surface with some white gesso to protect the sketch and the paper. I'll fill in the skin tones with a flat layer of colour, then use a darker skin tone for the areas of skin and shadow. I really wanted the character's look to really pop off the page when you see him, so I've exaggerated a lot of the features, which is what makes comics so great. You could really go to town and make your character look real, yet over the top. The big hair and the yellow pants gives a sense that this isn't taking itself too seriously, despite he's a badass looking character. You'll notice the light darkening every now and then, and that's because I'm using a light box so I can see the detailed sketch underneath the gesso, which is guiding where I put the shadows and details. Once that initial layer of acrylic ink has gone down, I can start to subtly add in finer details using colour pencils. The colour pencils give me greater precision than if I just used a brush and paint. I've struggled with getting the finer lines and details just using a brush and paint in the past, but with pencils I have better control of my lines and I can softly blend them faster than if I were using paint with a brush. Although the first part of the process does use painting techniques, the colour pencils guarantee a consistency of colour that I really like and takes out all the stress of mixing paints again if they dry out or run out. Using an airbrush with the same skin tone mixtures softens any of those harsh transitions from light to dark. Airbrush on its own can work just as well, but I prefer the texture of the pencil underneath the sprayed paint, giving it a more realistic quality. It's definitely less plastic looking or too smooth. When it comes to a name for this guy, I'm thinking something very 60s, 70s, and catchy. The stories are based on a demon hunter traveling the world with his katana, possessed by the soul of the real-life black samurai, Yasuke, a mysterious African warrior who served as a samurai in the 16th century Japan. Look it up if you're interested, it's a really fascinating story. I thought, why not wrap up my favourite interests of Kung Fu, Hellboy, comics, monsters, big hair and shiny swords and wrap it all into some crazy short stories. Give this a like and please feel free to leave a comment with your suggestions. Let's see who gets the most votes for their name suggestion. Let's make it like the top 3 names with the most votes for their name suggestion, and I'll contact those people. I don't know, we'll work it out somehow. And I'll send you a signed print of the image you saw at the beginning of this video. Thanks for watching.